So in this quick screen recording, I am going to be talking about my digipack and just explain a little bit more behind it. So I've been toying about what I want for my front cover, and originally it was going to be either one of these two, but I've been thinking about it recently, and I think that this one in particular has more contact with the audience, and it will definitely grab their attention if it was on a rack, basically, compared to this one, which is definitely an eye-catching idea, but I feel as though because it's got so many different elements going on and different layers, it might be a little bit confusing and it might not drag in the same amount of attention. I also know that this one isn't as bright from the real version, which I've already done, compared to this one, which is definitely more bold and everything like that. And that's part of the reason why I think that this one would be better. It would also mean that I have room, like here, for example, to write the killers, or across here. I feel as though I had more movement and space around the whole composition compared to this one, where I have this small space here, but that's about it if I don't want to cover any of their faces. So that's why I thought that this would be a good one for the inside left, as nothing writing wise needs to go on there, and I feel as though this is still a strong piece, it's just not maybe front cover material. Okay, so moving on to the inside centre. Over the holiday, the Christmas holiday, I did spend almost all of our time in this cute little cottage, and there was this gorgeous fireplace, and I've taken a few pictures of that. That's why there's this bar here, that's just what's in the photos. I thought that this would be a really good place to have on my CD as well, as it's not something which, if part of it gets cut off, then it's the end of the world or anything like that. I just think that I was playing around with putting this image originally on here, but I was like, well, if this part of the face isn't properly showing, and then I'll have to cut it here, and then is it really giving the same eye contact and everything with the audience? And I was just really debating whether the whole thing was worth it. I came to the conclusion that I love that image so much that it wasn't worth risking ruining and devaluing the whole image. Yeah, so coming back to the fireplace, this will also mean that if I do have to crop it, this area here and this area here won't get affected, because worst comes to worst, I do just chop it off here, but if it was this, it would impact the image a lot more differently. Okay, so going to the inside right, I haven't created this or been able to do it yet, but my idea is for one of my locations, specifically the alley scene, I'm going to take a picture of Saskia in the background and Lucan in the foreground. Maybe I might have it from a worm point of view. I'm still debating that idea, but I've got the idea of having graffiti on the wall and making it kind of edgy and dark and a little bit like that. So I was thinking about how this inside right and the inside left have to almost mirror each other. And I was thinking that it would make sense that they have like some sort of element which is similar. So when I was doing my location shoot, I noticed that they had a lot of hanging lights, and it'd be quite easily for me to just take a picture of that and make sure that the angles are the same for my darkroom set. That way I feel as though there's a link, and then it also draws more attention to the inside centerpiece, which is the fire. I also like the fact that it is a two-person shot, the same as with the inside left. And yeah. On the other hand though, this is definitely looking at more of the surrounding scenery and isn't engaging with the audience at all, whereas this one is definitely getting the audience involved and able to see what they actually look like and everything. So that's definitely something to consider. Okay, so moving on to this one. I was thinking about key turning points in my music video itself, and I feel as though that this cup of coffee could represent the whole beginning and end and how they link together. And I feel as though it's such an important piece that I really should include that in my extra panel. I also know that for a fact that I've taken pictures of coffee and everything before with lighting and the professional DSLRs, so I do understand what angles look good, how to position a hand if you want them in the shot, what to do with the foreground. So I've had quite a bit of experience with taking pictures of cups of coffee. So I feel as though that would be quite an easy one to get. So for my front cover, I wanted quite a... Oh no, the back cover, sorry. I didn't want something which would distract from the track list, which is here, and I will explain that in a minute. So a lot of my music video is going to have pulsing elements where the focus is going to be pulling backwards and forwards and creating a little bit of confusion. And I really want to do this with I want to make sure that it's on beat and on tempo and maybe give the idea of like a heartbeat. Anyway, so in one of the locations which I do, I really want to take an out of focus picture like this. I'm thinking maybe lights because that would be really easy, but then I want to make sure that I get a variety of colours rather than, for example, here where I would just have lots of individual yellow dots. So I want to make sure that I get 5 seconds of summer as a little band across the side. I feel as though when you see this whole album, it might not scream out what exactly you're looking at or something like that. I'm debating whether to use the word Killers, as I already know that this is an existing band and different to 5 Seconds of Summers, but I felt as though it connected to the vibe right, but I'm still debating with that idea. Anyway, so going on to the tracks, there is a reason why Teeth is the only one on this track. So technically it is a single, as they originally created this song to be part of the, what's it called? The 13 Reasons Why, season 3. It was meant to be one of the songs for that. So because of this, they've created their own track for it now, but it's only got one song in, which is Teeth. I don't think that this is a major issue, as it could just be a single album, but it's a bit of a shame that I can't put more of their songs on. But no worries, we're still gonna go with it. Yeah. So, although this is the design which I'm going with at the moment, as you can see, I'm already thinking about ideas to tinker with, and maybe moving some of them around, playing with the different viewpoints and perspectives, but we'll see how it goes.